Hi everypony! Time to explore Castle. So this week we got a new writer and his first attempt at adding to the legacy of MLP. How do I think he did? Well, let's first take a look at the characterization. Every pony is split up in pairs. Fluttershy has been brought along by Rarity, Twilight is doing research on the box with Spike, and Rainbow Dash and Applejack are competing to see who is the most daring pony. This immediately caught my attention because it seemed like we were recalling the friendship between Rarity and Fluttershy from Green Isn't Your Color, and the rivalry between Applejack and Rainbow Dash from Fall Weather Friends. This caught my attention, and this writer did something amazing with the characters that we don't see very often. He's reusing things we've seen the characters do before to get them to fit a role, and to update the characters. We have Rarity actively pursuing a form of art other than dressmaking, reminding us of how she has a varied/sophisticated taste. Watching Applejack and Rainbow Dash competing was way too natural, and Applejack's bad storytelling reminded me of Bridal Gossip and Look Before You Sleep. Twilight staying calm while Spike's afraid has happened before because he's far more susceptible to fears born from outside sources. And then there's Fluttershy. Fluttershy isn't just afraid of the forest. Instead, we see a strange spider with a star on its back, and apparently it's the season for that particular kind. I love in-episode continuity tricks, by the way. Furthermore, she is sarcastic and skeptical when it comes to Rarity wanting to go into the castle. Only in the end does she go in, and at the beginning of the two's journey for art, she begins worrying over Angel Bunny. This is all a show of her having developed past a shy little pony who gets rendered useless. I love all these hints at character continuity, and it only gets better from here. Once inside, we see all of them get closer and closer to the final group mental breakdown. Fluttershy is separated from Angel and worries more and more as the episode continues. Twilight is perfectly fine, and Spike voices very valid points about strange and frightening sounds. Angel relaxes, ignoring what could be happening to Flutters. Now for the three where this episode truly shined, and the portrayal of fear. This episode trope has always failed for me because we take brave people, make them get into a scaredy cat competition, and then both fail. This episode lacks two things though. One is someone waiting and watching purposefully making their lives hell, so that they can make fun of them in the end. It also lacks proper smack talk of the two trying to piss each other off. The two try, but it's awkward and half-hearted, and that fits perfectly with the fact that neither tend to be aggressive when the pressure's not on. Here though, they lose their bravado like all the others, and now comes the question of why. Well, in the Beast-Staring Challenge, it was a matter of keeping focus and a cool head. Rainbow Dash's competitive nature was probably the only thing allowing her to keep struggling against Applejack. However, in the castle, they are actively looking to be brave. This means two things. 1. Looking for situations they find frightening to get under the other's skin, and 2. Looking to get scared. Being brave isn't the same as staying calm. To be brave, you have to feel fear, and since they were looking to get scared, made themselves extremely vulnerable to strange noises, dark atmosphere, and jump scare tactics. The descent into fear was fueled by one another, and that's why both react similarly at the panic scene. Rarity doesn't get scared. Instead, she gets frustrated, and this matches all the different times she hasn't reacted to what happens with every pony else. Heck, it matches straight continuity to how she reacted in the boutique in this season's premiere. She does, however, get increasingly frustrated, voicing her discomfort about the dirt and the fact that the tapestries are being a little difficult to obtain. When she gets kicked out by a trap, she immediately whips around and yells at the castle. Kinda like if you're playing a video game. You spend 2 hours being an obstacle just to have the next one kill you and send you back to the previous part. So finally, in the panic scene, she falls to a jump scare, and the fact that everything really turns against her at once puts her into a crying fit. What makes this even more beautiful is that when Rarity has gone overwhelmed in the past, it was because others around her were also overwhelmed. So when every pony else freaked out on unprecedented levels, she fell apart just as hard. That's why she was sobbing from exhaustion/fear/sadness under the tapestry. Fluttershy had spent the whole episode holding herself pretty well when you consider the Crystal Empire or Season 1, and that is a real tip to the hat to the writer's ability to show her character growth. However, her fears can still overwhelm her, and this time it is the fear of something happening to Angel Bunny. Because of those irrational fears she's overcome, she can see all the possible dangers, rational and irrational, for the little bunny. When she gets to the end, frustrated, tired, and worried, just to see Angel crushed, of course she starts sobbing and panicking. This is 3 different kinds of fear, 3 different kinds of panic, 3 different kinds of breakdowns, all fueled by continuous character development over 3 seasons. It actually feels like the past seasons have led up to this moment, and that is how character continuity should be. For this to stand out as it does shows how amazing this writing for the characters is comparatively to the other writers who have been here for all 3 seasons. Even Angel isn't being a complete jerk, but instead takes a more angsty teenager attitude this episode. So let's get to the organ player. Prior to seeing her, I had let myself ignore who it was going to be and take a stab at who it might have been instead. I arrived at Trixie because her wagon had an organ/piano, she may have been learning the instrument, and she had left Ponyville and we had no idea where she had gone, not to mention the fact that the pony was in a high hooded cloak just like the one she left in. I was furious when I saw it was Pinkie, especially when she explained why through a ramble of randomness. However, I calmed myself and realized that this writer hadn't skipped a beat even here. First off, the reason I knew it was going to be Pinkie was because of how she phrased it told me she was going to endlessly ring the bell, and there was no way Cheerilee was going to put up with that. Her knowing how to play an organ is part of the fact that she can play 10 other instruments, including an accordion. For her to quickly learn the basics of the organ isn't terribly surprising. Her randomness putting her in a situation most of us wouldn't be in, that's happened a few times. Now for the best part. She was doing this to scare the daylights out of the others, because she could see where this was going, just like us viewers. She thought this was intentional because she doesn't take fear seriously and decided to ramp up the scare level as best she could. So every character did what they should, as 3 seasons of the show say they should've. That, plus how well this overdone trope was done, the comedy and the plot building of a possible shadow monster and new and improved letter system, makes this one of my top 3 favorite episodes of My Little Pony. By the way, I love the idea of the journal because it can be so much more than about friendship and allows them to still get deeper messages across to a younger audience. Let's do some fanboying. I love this castle and the fact that we got to use it. I love how the star spires look. I absolutely love a nod to the playful Princess Celestia we've seen in the past by way of showing us she built her castle around that theme 1,000 years ago. Did they remove a wall since the Nightmare Night 2-parter? Cause this place seems bigger. This is Line Space saying, I want to play in the castle funhouse.